Hello everyone, welcome to today's channel. Today we'll be talking about enlisting in the military and the things that you need to know or need to ask your recruiter whilst getting ready to be enlisted. So I have Olanihi here again today, and he's going to start talking about the things that he did or the questions that he asked or how his process went when he got ready to sign up for the service. So especially Zulanihi, tell us what are the things or the questions that we need to ask our recruiters when we go or we first go to that office to be like, yes, I'm ready to go into the service.
Okay, well, for me, my experience was kind of smooth because, like, we talked about earlier in the other video that it's important to ask the right questions and talk to the right people. So I have an uncle that retired as a captain in the army. So he kind of gave me the lowdown of the things I should talk to the recruiter about. And some of the major things are for instance, if you have college credits, you don't want to go in at the lowest rank of E1. That gives you an advantage so that you can go into the military on a higher rank. Fine, you still have to serve the time in service to get promotions at some point, but at least it gives you the advantage of getting paid more from the beginning.
Let me come in right there, because even with the college credit, you're not necessarily supposed to be an enlisted soldier. You can go in as an officer depending on your level of education. Because I take myself for example, when I was getting in, I already had a master's, and my recruiter did not tell me all that. All she said was, oh, it's easier to get into OCS, which is officer school, when you get in there. But the truth of the matter is you can get in right away into officer school if you have college degree, which will in turn save you all this process of getting enlisted, going into basic training, and then coming in order for you to prepare and go through training again to be an officer.
Yeah. Well, I guess that is what leads us to the point of being an immigrant. One of the things that can hold you back from being able to do what she says is citizenship. So at the point you're joining the army, if you're not a citizen, citizenship is one of the requirements that is not waiverable to be able to become an officer.
But Badu, you know the funniest thing? I was a citizen before joining the military, but that also boils down to the person getting, not even the recruiter. That also boils down to the person doing their research well in order to get all the information they need. Because I did not do that much of a research. So I did not know that much until I was in, even though I enjoy it, But if I knew what I knew now, I wouldn't have enlisted before getting into OCS, which now I'm not even in OCS now. But with a citizen with a master's degree, I could have easily gone into OCS to become an officer without going through the enlisted process.
Yeah, basically, as good as recruiters are, they try to do the fastest route to getting you to join the military. And for them, some of the fastest route is getting you as an enlisted soldier. Just join, just sign the contract. That's what they are mostly after. I had the benefit of a good recruiter that gave me a lot of information, but background information too works a lot. So I was able to ask the right questions when I met the recruiter. And based on the knowledge that my recruiter saw that I had, she had to respond based on my inquiries, and at the end of the day, it helped both of us be able to get. So by the time I went to the office for the first time, I already had all the documentation I need. You need, so for instance, if you're married or you have dependents, you need to inform them from the beginning, being able, so that you can get your BAH and everything from the beginning. Even
so,
while
you're talking about BAH. What does BAH stand for to a civilian? Because not everybody is good with that. So
BAH is basic allowance for housing. That is what you get when you have when you're married or you have dependents. And your dependents could be primary dependents or secondary dependents. That it could be your wife and children, or just children, or just your wife. And your secondary dependents could be your parents, whether adoptive parents or your actual biological parents. As long as they are long as you have somebody that relies on you, especially for more than 50% of their income, that is considered as dependent. And so from that money, they expect you to be able to pay the rent, where they will stay while you're serving, whether it is during basic training or in the actual military, and where you will be living too when you finally leave training. And also part of the money is to use to take care of them and make sure you cater for their welfare. So that's what BAH is about. But you can be married and you join the military. If you don't ask these questions, you would not get it.
Very true.
And then there will be somebody in basic training with you who is telling you this is what they are getting in their paycheck every month, and you're wondering, we're on the same rank, how come you're getting more money?
That's why it pays to do all your research, as I said earlier on, because or ask questions from people that are already in the service to know what you need to do before getting into it.
And apart from the BAH and the fact that you can also get in as officer or as a higher enlisted soldier, maybe E2, E3, or even E4 if you have a college degree. Another thing that you should ask your recruiter about is getting the right job. There are two kinds of jobs you can get in the military: combat jobs and combat support jobs. So it depends on what your passion is. It depends on, you may not be able to get the actual job you want.
Very true. That's one key point that people need to.
But no matter what, you still have more than 3 to 4 options. You may not, and now that comes down to your GT score, but that's like a different topic entirely.
Yeah,
so,
that we'll talk about next time when it comes to GT.
Your GT scores kind of determine the options that you have. Your citizenship determines the options that you have, and then so your GT score, your citizenship status, and your recruiter's willingness to go the extra mile to get whatever waivers that you need to fit into one job or the other.
So when my colleague talked about you being citizenship counting into what job you get, it's on the level of maybe some of the jobs that you is open for you has security clearance, and if you don't have that, or if you're not a citizen, you'll not be able to get that kind of job. So you see people going into the military and getting something else other than what they normally wanted to have. That is because they didn't get the clearance that they needed right then. But that doesn't mean that you cannot get it when you are in the service, because the one thing the military knows how to do best is helping soldiers to get to where they need to get, helping soldiers to get to where they need to be in their career. So if you are in the process of going through that and that is something stopping you, do not let that stop you, because you can always get your security clearance. And one thing that I see to be beneficial to we immigrants too is that if you're just a green card holder and you join the service, you are able to get your citizenship faster, on a faster track, as compared to a civilian trying to do them on their own, because as I said, the military take care of its own.
Yeah. And so when you get the citizenship, then at that point they start working on your security clearance, and then you just make sure you follow it up, especially when you know maybe you're trying to transition from your present job to a job that will require security clearance. And the good thing about security clearance is that it's also still valid and useful outside the military.
Very true.
When you are, so so when you also get your recruiter, make sure you ask them about these things, and you want to talk about your citizenship packet. We know that especially for green card holders, we know that the requirements change all the time. Initially, it was from the first day of military service, like while in basic training, you start your immigration process. But now it's like after 6 months. But at the end of the day, what you just know is that you're on a fast track to citizenship.
Very true.
That is one of the motivations.
That's like half the time for civilian.
But at the end of the day, even if you feel like you want to join for one thing, whether it's education benefits or for citizenship or for just getting a job, like we said in the other video, join with the right mindset, be motivated, be ready to give it what it takes, because the contract you're going to sign, and that's another thing we'll talk about, is a binding contract.
It is. You can't just get up one day and be like, I quit. That's one thing that is never done in the military. Listen, there are times that you wouldn't feel like going to work. You wouldn't feel like getting up in bed. But remember that contract that you signed. You said, I pledge allegiance, you know. So I would say take it one day at a time, you know. Let the day take it as the day comes. Let me put it that way. As the day comes, stepping into it, and then have positive mindset. You know, as we said in the other video, there might be times that work will be like crazy and you didn't feel like being here, but have positive mindset that at the end of the day you get to go home. At the end of the day you get to get paid and have all the benefit that you can ever get in every work that you can possibly think of.
So, and as far as your contract is concerned too, is one of the things you should discuss with your recruiter. At the point that I was joining the military, I was made to believe that the least amount of the least time you can sign is 3 years and 1 week. It's only after I joined I realized that some people signed in the same
for
job
2 years.
for 2 years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how come I didn't know there's a chance to sign 2 years or something? But it comes down to
knowing exactly what you want.
One thing you should understand as a civilian before you sign that contract is the army.
You have the power.
Yes.
In your hand.
You can actually make demands. That is the point where you can make demands.
That is what most people don't know. And we go and we let anything or everything that the recruiter has to tell us we take. But as a civilian now wanting to join the military, you do have that power in your hands. You carry all the cards, so you can demand what you want. So that's why it is very important to have all your facts down of what you want, how you want, and all that. The only thing that they can ever tell you is no, but at least you tried.
And that's like you said, you have all the cards in your hands. They need you at that point. The army doesn't need you, but the army needs you. The army has a lot of boots on the ground. People sign up every week, but they need you to sign up too. So at that point, that is the point you can design your military service basically. So the moment you sign the contract, now we own you. There's nothing you can do about it anymore. So before you sign, ask the right questions. Make sure you get all you can before you sign that contract, and before you know it, you enjoy your military service.
Like, better let me put this in so we can laugh about it or something. I remember when I was joining, as I said earlier, when I was joining, I didn't really do much of a research. The funny part was I had just finished my master's degree and I was looking for a human resource job. I didn't even take time to basically read through and know that, oh, it's the actual service and not the civilian side. So I did everything, and then only for me to get there, be like, yeah, it's done. It's time for you to go to basic training. I said, basic training? He said, yes. I said, I thought this was civilian job. But that boils down to the part that I didn't do my research well. Even though now I'm enjoying the military, hey, thumbs up. But it is better to do much research, you know, before you go to the recruiter, because as my colleague said, the recruiters are there to add people to the service. The military need you, but you have to make the right, do your due diligence by researching
and asking the right questions.
Yes.
So but in case you have any questions that you want to ask, you can drop it in the comment section.
You can always drop it in the comment, and we will sure to answer your questions and give you feedback about that. Thank you again for joining us today, and we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.